Thank you, Pastor Carl John, and thank you all for letting me come and hang out with you this morning. It's good to be with you in worship and conversation. Been asked to say a little bit about the Equipping the Saints campaign, and that actually is a process that started about 5 years ago. When I was elected bishop, we did some listening. We eventually decided that we needed to develop a new mission statement. So we have a statement of vision, mission, values, and practices that we adopted at our Synod Assembly in 2019. Simply put, our mission statement as the Greater Milwaukee Synod is to follow Jesus, form communities, and love all. We do that guided by 4 core values as a Synod. This is all on our Synod website, but with the 4 core values, I also hope are a little easy to remember. They are curiosity, courage, compassion, collaboration. That's how we invite all of our expressions of the Synod, not just at the Synod office or the Synod staff, but also all the congregations, deacons and pastors and lay leaders to engage in our ministry in the world. We then decided it was time to organize our financial resources so that we could more effectively live into that mission. So we came up with this plan, adopted that we would do a campaign in the 2019 assembly, and we're getting it all ready, and we had our opening meeting of the planning committee on March 12th of 2020. And then boom, right? Everything changed with the pandemic, so we had to slow things down, recalculated the campaign, but as we looked at it, we had 3 primary foci of the campaign. We decided those are still accurate. That's still what we need to invest in. Innovation, collaboration, and leadership. Simply put, we need to come together and find leaders and train and support leaders who can help us discover new ways of being the church in this changing world. That was true then, and it's true now. Because even though the mission of the church is the same, following Jesus, forming communities, loving all, that was the mission of the church way back in the first century, right? It's still the mission that we have today. How we do that is certainly changing as we go into this new age. And so we have been embarked on this campaign, and we are trying to raise $2.3 million to invest in innovation, collaboration, and leadership. We're about halfway there on the goal. We've already raised over $1 million, and now we're going into the congregations of the Synod. Every congregation is doing it a little bit differently. Some are having a full 5-week campaign and sending out pledge cards. Not sure exactly how you're going to do it here at House of Prayer, but we're inviting people across the Synod not to take money out of House of Prayer and instead give it to this campaign, but it's a special gift. It's an over and above second mile offering for people to participate in this campaign. What are we doing with all that money? Well, it is not, and let me repeat, it is not going to go into the Synod budget to pad our bottom line or to cover a deficit. No, it's going right back out through us to invest in innovation, collaboration, and leadership. Grants are given, for example, in the innovation category to congregations who will be a part of the Faithful Innovations process. That's something that you've been involved with here at House of Prayer, and we want to have more congregations that are involved in this process. I won't talk about that process in great detail at this juncture. You can talk to Pastor Carl John or some of the other people involved in that. But that is simply saying that we need to figure out new ways to get out of the building and into the world. And the most effective way we've learned to do that is through coaching, right? So we will have coaches for any congregation that wants to be a part of this process, and those coaches are paid for with funds from the Equipping the Saints campaign. We also have a ministry called Outreach for Hope, right? Some of you may have heard of Outreach for Hope. It's a way that we organize our resources to support ministries in neighborhoods that are combating poverty and inequality. And that's a way that we collaborate across the Synod to support urban ministry. And we want to strengthen that ministry within Outreach for Hope and strengthen the collaboration that we have, not just between congregations, but between congregations and the schools, congregations and other service providers, congregations of other faith traditions. We are learning, and it's becoming more true now than ever before, that we cannot do this work by ourselves, right? House of Prayer as an island will sink, right? If all your connections are only within this congregation, it is not enough to survive in the world today. We need partners. We're part of a Greater Milwaukee Synod, 115 congregations across southeastern Wisconsin. We do this work together, and we got to find new ways of doing that work together. We also are investing in leadership, right? Lifting of new leaders, yes, but also supporting the leaders that we have, right? These past few years have been really challenging to serve in leadership as a pastor or a deacon in this church. And Wisconsin Council of Churches did a recent survey, and over 80% of pastors were thinking about quitting because of the stresses of the pandemic, right? Not that they quit, but they were thinking about it, right? It's become increasingly challenging to serve in public leadership these days. So we want to support our leaders with grants for continuing education. How do we learn how to lead in this new age? We need to grow and strengthen our continuing education commitment. So there's some grants in there for that as well. We're also committed as a synod to explore what does it mean to be an authentically diverse church, right? To be an anti-racist and fully inclusive church, we need to focus and organize some resources. I'm going to go over and grab this water right away because I was just starting to get a little tickle here. So part of the resources will be used to support that. In addition, 10% of everything that we raise in the Equipping the Saints campaign will be tithed, given away outside of the ministries of this synod to support, for example, leadership development in our partner churches in Tanzania and El Salvador, to support collaboration work with Lutheran Social Services in their refugee resettlement work, and to support innovation work that happens across the entire ELCA. So, we're trying to raise $2.3 million over a course of 3 years. We're halfway there. We invite all of you to think about what could you do to be a part of this effort to renew the church for generations to come. So you'll learn more about how to make those gifts in the days and weeks to come. Again, not sure exactly how your leaders are going to do that, but we invite you to be with us, join with us as we try to follow Jesus, form communities, and love all. Thank you.